It's a game you play with friends in a room. I guess you can play it on the internet. It would work just as well. But
Yeah. Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris.
And we're here with Kyle and Tim from Untappd. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. And we're going to be drinking some beers today from Brewery Ommegang by way of Jason Harris.
Ommegang.
So, what was the inspiration behind this show, Jason?
Yeah, I had a real grand design here. No, I legitimately was just kind of like, what's something we haven't done in a while? I want to break away from IPA so much. Try to do a show that there's not even a hoppy beer in the set, I don't think.
So Ommegang's part of the network of breweries that are owned by Duvel Mortgott. They're like with Firestone Walker and Boulevard Brewing Company. They're known for making more Americanized yet traditional Belgian-inspired beers.
Yeah.
And I honestly think this is a nice break from the hazies and IPAs and everything we've been doing.
It's been a while,
at least over the
since
last few months.
It's been a while since I've had anything from Ommegang.
Yeah, it's one of those breweries that I tend to overlook quite a bit on the shelf just because it's always there, and I take it for granted.
I will admit, they burned me on a couple of those Game of Thrones beers. I was like, this beer is mad mediocre.
Yeah,
I had never. I mean, it may have been the hype where I saw them and I was like, no, they can't be good, right? They just can't be. Just because of the branding.
Yeah, like they're just fine.
They're made made for the sole purpose of them being marketing tools for the show.
Collect them all kind of thing.
Yeah, very much so. So I, just looking on Untappd, I have only had 3 from this brewery ever. I think the one that most stood out to me was Cooperstown, their blonde ale. And that, obviously Cooperstown, baseball, like it all very much falls within things that I would off the shelf be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it for me. I, again, like you guys, I just don't really seek them out.
The only thing I really remember about him is when they did their rebrand, and I was super stoked on that. And that was years ago.
Yeah, that was.
I don't even know if they've done another one since then.
I
but
don't think so.
It was.
I know.
Really cool.
I know they just posted a bunch of photos on Instagram at the beginning of the year for their new packaging for 6-packs and stuff, but outside of that, like, it's I think their branding is kind of classic looking, and I don't think they are a brewery that needs to actually rebrand to fit in the market.
Everyone seems to think that right now.
I don't know. I mean, they make classic beer styles, and I guess they're kind of dipping their toe in the canned thing as of late, but they're not like making hazies and stuff. So I'm not going to say they're a weird brewery, but they're a unique brewery that I just can't, like, I don't know. I feel like if they weren't owned by Duvel, maybe they wouldn't be as successful as they currently are, because, like...
Or as prominent, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because, like, what are they doing to actually stand out in the market, like the current beer market, like that hype whale beer market? I don't know if they're doing anything, so...
The Game of Thrones beers.
That said, we're going to do all brewery. Oh, my God, beers.
I mean, honestly, what's funny is the description... earlier on was given as a they're an Americanized Belgian beer, but they almost feel traditional at this point because they're so Belgian focused, which is just even a lot of breweries that were that way have kind of moved away.
Well, for us, like
that being said, on the front of their website it says introducing Brute IPA. So
there you go.
They're not immune
I
to
forgot about that
pressure.
push too. Yeah, they're like, yeah, okay. For us here locally, like Monkish is the first one that comes to mind that was like hardcore traditional, like we're gonna make Belgian beers and like no IPA, and they just did a 180 and like blew the doors off the hazy IPA scene.
I have an Ommegang story. Ommegang. I'm fairly positive that the first Ommegang that I had was Three Philosophers with you and the Four Brewers crew at West 4th and Jane.
Probably that was like the secret Untappd, like founders spot or whatever.
I was just scrolling through my check-ins. I'm like, that's the very first one. I'm like, that must have been with you guys, because I would never get something like that back in that time frame.
Yeah,
man, we have a lot of old beer connections, buddy.
We both got into craft beer at the same time, basically.
I don't know.
No, like again, 2010 was when we first did the show with you, but I got into craft beer like 2008. Like late 2008, 2009, and I still didn't know anything like when I got into Four Brewers.
Okay.
Or New Brew Thursday, I should say. So we kind of grew up in the same era of beer.
Shucks.
Like I like before New Brew Thursday, I was drinking Bud Light. That was my beer of choice. Like that's just what it was. So,
did you know that Ommegang considers themselves a farmhouse brewery?
I did not know
So
that.
I would not have described them that way.
Reason is they're actually on a 138 acre like old hop farm. So I don't know if that plays into it a little bit.
I would think so.
The hop farm is in an area of upstate New York known as Nova, New Belgium. They're actually in New Belgium. Oh
my God.
It's funny.
Hey, my bean's been freaked.
Look at the fucking signs, man. It all goes together.
So the first beer we're having from Brewery Ommegang is their Fruition. At least that's what I've got on the roster here.
All right, that'll do.
This is a 5.3% wit beer made with mango, kiwi, and passion fruit juices.
Your favorite.
Yum.
Yeah, well. I'm fine with all of that. Guava is the fruit that I tend to like be cautious of. And it's also dry hopped with Citra and Cascade hops, which is I don't know. Sounds good.
That sounds pretty. On paper, I like all of those things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like them in concert, but
you can't drink paper.
Well, yes, you can.
John, open your closet and we'll prove that one wrong.
Who's the larger Portland brewery?
Rogue?
Rogue did the collaboration with the bookstore in Seattle, and they put pages from Moby Dick in the brew kettle.
Yeah, you know why? Because fuck Rogue.
Yeah, yep. That's what they do. So you can drink paper.
God.
With Powell's. Oh yeah, that store is dope. By the way, have you guys ever been there?
Yeah. Two-story or three-story.
Well, it's. I think it's just they've slowly annexed all their neighbors as they moved out
and just sort of like built connections.
Yeah, and they're just like, all right, we knock out a wall, and yeah, they're like a floor lower, but fuck it, we're good. It's good enough.
That was the first thing.
Yeah, I got my credit card declined at Powell's when I was there.
How'd that go?
That was fun.
Do you think it was their fault?
Yeah, how it goes.
Can you try it again? That's how it went.
I called. We see that you're in Oregon. Yeah, I travel. Well, that's unusual because you're usually within 120 miles of your home, and like, dude, don't shame me. Come on.
You never go anywhere, dude. This can't be you. Someone's must stole your card to go buy.
You're in a bookstore?
Nope.
You don't read.
God.
That would be my flag. Using my card in a bookstore.
What
do you never?
I don't read a lot, but I mean, I enjoy bookstores.
I try not
That's
to
kind
buy
of a prominent
physical
one. Like this
books
is like a
anymore.
tourist attraction too, so like it's not unusual that I don't know, whatever.
I did buy 2 books when I was in Wilmington last time. I didn't get declined, so that's a plus.
Is it for the plane sort of situation?
I finished the one book that it took me like 6 months to read, and I needed a new one to go back.
That's always the case for me. I think being so into podcasts and video content and things like that, it's always an audiobook that for me holds attention the longest. But when I fall off the wagon of listening to one, it takes me months and months to get back. It just doesn't resonate.
I read on a Kindle, so I have the
Convenient.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm like the Vergecast right now.
My wife works for YouTube.
My wife works for Facebook. But yeah, full disclosure.
Oh yeah, Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook.
My corporate overlords are Amazon, but
it was Tom Merritt whose wife worked for YouTube.
Yeah, no, the Kindle. I have the Kindle Paperwhite with like the leather case, so it turns on when you open it and it turns off when you close it, and it feels really nice. And I just read on that, and because I don't have room for more fucking media in my house, I have like tons of fucking movies and games and books and all this shit, and I'm like, I'm full. Like,
yeah, no, I get that.
And I'm not gonna like until I fucking decide which of them sparks joy and fucking purge my house. Like, I don't have any more room.
I watched one episode of that show and I was like, "Fuck this!"
I hated those people in the first episode, and like,
that the Wait, which one was the first? Was that the family with 2 kids?
Wasn't it the rich people that are like, "We have so much stuff"?
It was like they were somewhere in like the like I want to say Torrance, but like that area of LA, like that side of LA. And
I can't remember what it was because we watched a couple of episodes, and we also, my wife, I think, either read the book or we read part of the book. We did this long before the show even happened. Like we purged everything.
Wow,
it worked pretty well.
Like I could purge some things.
It was fine. Like it was great. It was great. And like I went through and I purged, like clothing was the big one. I purged clothing. It was great until I realized I didn't have enough clothes to actually like last for like a 12-day trip. I was like, shit, does the hotel have a washer?
I signed up for a clothing subscription service, and my thing was I'll get a new shirt and then get rid of an old shirt.
Yeah,
because a lot of my old shirts were like when I was bigger, and they don't like they fit, but they're too big. And then that like I did that. I followed through with it, but then I would go to the store and buy more shirts, but I didn't apply the same rule, and now it's just as packed, except it's all stuff that I still don't wear.
You have to go spark joy in there.
But I look in that closet and I still get I feel joy.
You have to
you have to take everything out, put it in a pile, one by one,
and then thank that shirt for.
I watched the show, Tim.
Come on,
and I'm not gonna watch anymore because I didn't like it.
Are you gonna do it to your beer closet?
No.
Okay.
I've tried.
We tried throwing those against the fucking wall. They don't break.
We literally tried that.
Those goddamn 750s are too hardy. Like, you throw them, you feel like a fool.
You got to christen a ship with them.
I don't.
That would sink the ship.
Break the ship. Yeah.
Like
honestly, pay Jose Canseco fucking $200 so he can actually break the thing. I feel like he could still break a 750.
So this beer, Jason.
Yes, back to what we started with.
It's kind of funky.
In a good way. You're getting that passion fruit funk character, I think, along with their. I'm assuming they're using like some kind of a.
Are you guys getting a
mellow
sulfury character out of it? A little bit.
A what now?
Sulfury, kind of on the nose.
Like a rotten
I
egg.
smell Cascade, like a lot of Cascade, but not really.
My default is just to describe everything as Belgian-y.
I mean, it's it's got that Belgian nose, but I think
maybe
the
that's
fruit
it.
does
It's that
stand
kind of
out.
Belgian funk a little bit.
I don't get sulfur though. I think this is a well-made beer. Like this is really good.
I don't normally say this, but I feel like I want a little bit more fruit. Like the beer's named fruit. It's got three fruits in it, and the fruit character is really muted. I
Really?
think.
It seems pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
When you, I don't know. Like sometimes in the app where it'll be listed as a fruit ale, and I'll taste it and be like, "Where's the fruit?" Like I don't. But I don't know. To that point, like it does evoke a little bit of like a. If I could say a Belgian beer is juicy, it's kind of got that like juicy character to it.
Oh yeah,
but
it's a juicy Belgian. Yeah,
We're starting a whole new style.
I think the fruit comes through quite a bit on the flavor. I mean, it's not like dominant like a jammy kind of beer, but it's subtle enough to let the beer shine through, but prominent enough to,
I think
to where I can taste it.
we need to start a trend of Belgo New England IPAs.
That's
The New England Belgo IPA. Remember that?
Well, how would you do that? You'd something like the hops, but Belgian yeast.
well, you'd have to
which
use.
then wouldn't be New Englandy at all.
Yeah.
Yeast is kind of
Basically,
the
it's a wit beer. That's what we're joking about.
Oh, okay.
It's like Firestone Walker's Mind Haze. It's basically a hazy wit beer,
Okay.
well,
but it tastes
us.
like it's a really good
I miss
hazy
the
IPA.
No, remember they told us the whole story with that? Like they were like, okay, we weren't going to make a hazy beer because we determined it was bullshit. And then Matt Brindelson turned up some brewery in Germany that had some ancient traditional technique, and it made cloudy beer, and it was a proven historic technique. And then he's like, okay, I'm okay with doing that.
No, it was a style. What was the style? It was a
I forget what it was, but it was basically like they had to do some sort of like
a Weizenbock.
like a
It was a
backflip to
Weizenbock.
get themselves into like, okay, if we do that, then we'll make one of these.
we aren't following the trend.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was Weizenbock because Weizenbock is like
Yeah.
fruity and like a big hazy beer, and so they were like, they've been doing this forever. Like, okay, we
We're
can
not
do
following
that.
a trend.
Yeah, and that's basically what inspired them to make Mind Haze, which Mind Haze is a great beer.
Mind Haze.
Compressor.
It got so quiet that you actually broke out of it.
Noise gate.
You actually got behind it. Well, what's next on the
I dig
list?
this beer. I think it's good. I would crush a 6-pack of this, and it's only 5.3%. So that's a win for all of us.
I don't love it, but it's okay. I'm not mad that I drank it.
Okay, so up next is we're kind of ramping up slowly here. This is another one from Brewery Ommegang.
Ooh,
This
Rare
is
Voss.
Rare Voss,
Nice.
which I don't know if I've had this beer. 6.5%. It's a red ale made with sweet orange peel, grains of paradise, and coriander. And it's named after a cafe just outside of Brussels de Rare Voss called... Oh, wait, no. Brussels de Rare Voss, or the Sly Fox.
I'm gonna feel really cool if I've had this and you hadn't.
Honestly, I'm so
Same.
bad at Untappd.
I have. I'm bad at Untappd.
Like I am religious with Untappd for like 4 brewers because I use it as like a reference
Yeah.
for everything we've done on the show. But personally, like God, it's
I
Portland was probably the last time I was like,
I was really hardcore about it when we were chasing 5K, and then fucking like I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I'll be the first to admit as somebody who built it that I'm not the most religious.
Yeah,
on
it's
checking
like
it.
every social network. You're all hyped for it at first, and then you kind of adapt, and then it plays
I
a
had
role.
3 friends who were in a Uniques competition, and so we were pretty like I would be at a beer festival and I would check in every fucking thing I had.
Well, I've started going down the Uniques path of like, if I've had it before,
There's no badge after 5, so fuck it. When I think the next one's 10. 5
Yeah,
was,
it is
5
10.
was a slog, dude. Like 2,500, you're like cool. Like you're like I hit a fucking mountain, but I'm good. And then like 2,500 to 5, it's a fucking slog.
Remember when
dude.
Untappd would be like, whoa, slow down.
Oh
Slow
yeah,
down.
30 people hated that shit. The 30
What are you
second.
doing?
It was a 30-second delay between check-ins.
I get it, and I understood why it was there, but it was just like, come on.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. Like seeing that, like obviously, my unique count is above the founders of
that's
Untappd's count,
easy.
but that kind of is. It's sort of nice to see that there are folks out there who are like checking in a whole bunch of beers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I still, however many years in, I'm still chasing uniques for sure. Like I'm still trying to find
cool.
unique beers. So Rare Voss specifically, last time I had this was 2014. I don't know when the last time was that you had it, but
I've actually never checked into it.
Okay.
So I may not have ever had this. I've seen
20
it so many times. I feel
October
like I've had
5th,
it.
2014.
okay. May 23rd for me. But the original packaging for this had a fox and a pigeon, I think. I'm going to say pigeon on the front.
Yeah, they've kind of rebranded it.
Yeah. It looks kind of cool now. I'm into it. It's more like on the fox side, and it's got sort of this like I don't know, like ink blot test look to it, where you're kind of like
The Rorschach.
Rorschach test. Yeah. The note that I have in here, I don't know if this is going to still be accurate. This was obviously 5 years ago. Tastes a little like Thanksgiving dinner. So
Huh,
if you want to keep that in mind.
It's interesting because you're venturing, like going into the, I don't know if you guys are going to go Belgian, but pseudo-Belgian or whatever you want to put this in the category. This has always been the category of beers that I've always been a little like on. So it's an interesting
For me,
area.
I take like I kind of do a walk down the Belgian road every so often. Like I like, there's a couple Belgian bars around that are old favorites of mine that like, but I'll go to them like, once a year or every other year or something like that. Like you're in Burbank. Lucky Baldwin's has a pretty good Belgian selection.
Yep.
I was like trying the stuff there. There's a place in Claremont that is just all Belgian beer, like the Back Abbey they're called.
Okay.
Also the home of many tech YouTubers currently.
Really?
Yeah, like Jonathan Morrison, hey guys, that guy, what's his name?
That's every YouTube ever.
No, but Linus, no, not Linus. God, I forgot his name. There's a dude I watch that does video game reviews. He's also in Jonathan Morris's studio. They're all on like in the packing house. If you see all their B-roll when they're like doing stuff, it's all on the packing house,
Really?
like porch thing. They live there. Yeah, it's kind of nuts, and I take pride in that too. Because like,
Are you going to move in?
no, it's a cool spot. Like, have you ever been there? The Claremont packing house area?
I don't even know if I've been to Claremont.
Oh, you should go there. It's cool. It's like a really like one of the oldest cities in. Is it still? It's LA, right?
It's the
Or
farthest.
IE.
Yeah, it's the border of LA County.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
But it's like
LA
all-
County and Inland Empire.
It's dope. Like it's an actual packing house that's been converted, and like it's the original flooring and architecture and stuff. And
That's awesome.
The
It's
dude
really
from the
cool.
Mountain Goats is not from there, but I think he went to school there or something. He lived there for a really long time.
Yeah, it was out in like Inland Empire area.
Yeah.
but the place that Jason's talking about is like right across the street from all of those restaurants at
Oh,
the
okay.
packing house.
Got it.
The Back Abbey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a full on like all Belgian beer, like just dedicated Belgian food. They refer to them as like frites, not fries.
Yep.
Belgian for us. I've got sort of a packing house story. There is the Anaheim packing house
Yeah.
as well. Ferkfest 2014, 2014, 15 was the first time I actually saw you guys out there recording
That was a
live.
disaster.
Oh, with that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that ruled.
There was a DJ out there for a bit. It was a whole thing for sure.
That was a thing.
That's where we learned live podcasting isn't a thing.
I will be honest, I hung out for a little bit. It was intriguing. Loved seeing the setup, loved seeing the table, microphones. That's my jam. But
We learned a lot that day.
yeah.
You got something to do, like especially on a timed event, right? If it was
Yeah.
like a weekend and it's like, well, I got an hour to kill, but it's like I got 4 hours to be here, and they're gonna stop serving at some point, so I want to actually like try some beers, and I can't sit around and watch these fucking guys.
My takeaway from that was we were setting up, and I'm like, you think I should set headphones up for everyone? And like, no, we're sitting right next to each other. Like, we can just hear each other talk. And then someone's talking into the microphone. It's like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they saying? And like, speak up. And like, I'm want me to yell? And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God. This is... And so we had, I last minute set up a monitor like in front of the tables, but then
Yes.
it was like
Yep.
feeding back into, it was a, oh God, for me, it was a disaster. It was so bad.
Come on, tech guy.
But it worked out okay. It was, but yeah.
I'm sorry to sort of like dig back into that nightmare of a situation, but
Oh, it's fun.
for me, I mean, it was pretty cool. Cool to see
The
other
cool
folks
thing,
out there.
honestly, like maybe it was an annoyance to everyone else, but that the dude that was like the middle guy, he's actually a well-known dude, and he works where I work, which I'm not going to say where I work, but like I've seen him, and he's a nice guy, and he's
Well, so that guy's like kind of infamous. Like somebody dug up a story about him. He used to live in like Wisconsin or something, and was like the same kind of dude where he'd go around as being fucking weird. So he had like a reputation to the point where some local like zine wrote a article like, "Oh, this guy's moving away. Hey, it's that guy you all know from the shows who goes around with a mustache being weird." And it was like, I forget his name, but
I mean, there was a whole period there where, like, I was seeing the same folks at all the Orange County brew festivals. Like,
Yeah.
every single time, it was the same people, same faces, same. And it's like, I don't know who you are, but like, I've seen you around,
Right.
And I just I didn't really know many people back then. So
Yeah, I think for us, going to fests has kind of like dwindled over the years. Like OC Brouhaha was like the popular fest that everyone went to, and then it got really big, and I'm just like, it's the same thing every year.
I mean, once we've kind of been in this for a little while, like, it's like, oh, we have 50 breweries and they're all pouring, like the beers, their main beers usually. And it's kind of like, yeah, but I've had all those breweries' main beers,
Yeah.
and I don't want to pay, $80 to walk around in the hot sun and drink, Sculpin, right? Like,
yeah,
And so you stepped up to something like the California Craft Beer Summit, where there's like every brewery in California at the festival, and it's like way more variety than you'd ever see in SoCal, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
But
And
I
there's
think-
still SoCal breweries there too.
we got inundated with beer festivals, I think. There's just too many, and they all got kind of diluted. It was really like any excuse to just have a bunch of breweries throw their shit out there, and it was just...
Well, I think that's what kind of made FerkFest different, right? It was both, you're getting a lot of one-offs and a lot of just a bunch of cask stuff. And also, it was in the spot where I didn't really frequent that often over by the packing, Anaheim
Yeah.
packing district. And so, that was kind of the only time of year I would get over there. And it would bring me over to whatever, Umami Burgers over there, and Anaheim Brewery, Anaheim
Yeah.
Beer Works was over there.
Brewery, yeah.
Yeah. So
Unsung is there now. They're pretty good.
yes, across the
Yeah.
street, which is kind of cool. A lot good memories, I guess.
I think this year Greg's going to do a nacho themed. I'm not joking. A nacho themed FerkFest.
Are you tipping it? Is that secret?
Was it secret?
I don't know. I didn't know it.
I don't think Greg cares.
It's not secret now.
But it's been delayed a few months because Greg, he's not here now because he's super busy and he's got other things going on. So it's still happening this year, but I think he's going to change up the theme from the tiki to nachos.
I do a few beer festivals every year. FerkFest is one, obviously. I mean, Greg's
It's
in
so
it.
small too. And like it's intimate and you can easily get the beers
And for my big fest, we do the Craft Beer Summit.
Yeah.
I do Firestone every year, the Firestone Walker Invitational.
you have yet to miss one.
Nope, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it every single year.
And you got tickets for this next one too.
Yep.
So
It's not that hard to get tickets. You fucking hit F5 till it comes up.
Robert French didn't get tickets, and he's pretty good about getting tickets. So
I don't know, or did he like wake up 5 minutes late and be like, oh, it sold out?
it's Julie, man. Julie is serious about beer.
Yeah,
She-
that's true. Pro tip, if you're using Eventbrite, the app works way better than the website.
Yeah.
The app is way less laggy. It'll be like I'm sitting here, I hit F5 on the website, it's like lagging out, and then on the app, I'm like, okay, bought, and it's done, and we're done, we're checked out. And the website hasn't loaded yet.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I'll tip my scale there on anybody trying to get those Eventbrite releases.
I've purchased plenty of Bottlelogic beers from Eventbrite, and I've never missed one until I stopped buying them. So I don't think we talked about this beer at all.
We have not talked about Rare Voss.
But mine's gone, and it was pretty damn good.
It's very it feels very in the vein of like a traditional kind of Belgian beer.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any they call it an amber ale with spices. It's kind of, and it's pretty accurate, I think. It does have that Belgian estery kind of yeast character to it.
It's like a wit beer, but with more malt character, I think.
Yeah,
because you get the spices from a wit beer,
they
use those same spices. But
yeah, it does actually have kind of the character. If you have like a traditional Belgian wit,
it's like more rich.
It's like that spice character, but with a like caramelly amber front.
Yeah, it's a well-made beer. I mean, it's awesome. So I mean, yeah. Next up, we're drinking Brewery Ommegang's 21st anniversary ale. This is 6.8%. So compared to the Rare Voss, it's just a little bit higher. This is a Saison farmhouse ale in a 750, and it's co-fermented with New York apple cider. So, and it looks like that cork's ready to fucking...
Yeah, it feels like it's gonna go.
Nice.
Now that's a cool label. I'm really digging that with sort of the gold foil situation. It's got like this almost like Arabic character writing sort of like around it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool looking.
I wonder if that's on purpose. I wonder what that means.
You know what's funny is the Unibrow uses kind of a very similar color palette. Like the black bottle gold foil thing is the same style they use for their anniversary thing. I wonder...
It's classy.
I wonder if that's a coincidence or if it's just kind of like, no, in Belgium, in Soviet Belgium...
Label foils
beer labels you, yeah.
Yeah. What a country.
So that's interesting. So I got this label off the TTB website. So they have to show it like with a background and stuff. And I thought this was like a printed label on paper, but it's actually screen printed on the bottle, and it looks much better than it looks on the website. Like, just saying.
Well, what do we know about this beer?
I told you it's co-fermented with apple cider.
Which I feel like that really plays out in the aroma already.
It's got an apple cider look, that's for sure.
So it says it's a Saison brewed with cinnamon, ginger, and lemon peel, co-fermented with a blend of New York State's finest apple cider.
Yum.
Yeah, you pretty much get all that.
That's a very accurate description.
Again, what I'm noticing about their beers is the malt character you get on the aroma is so nice. It's not like caramel or like biscuity or anything like that. It's just like this nice kind of sweet, like kind of like Hawaiian bread kind of malt aroma. It smells really good.
Crusty.
It works with the Belgian, works with the Belgian yeast, I think, a lot too.
It has the character of like a nice, like an artisanal bread.
It smells chewy. Like I want to chew the smell. Right?
Yeah. It's that mouthfeel.
Kind of a bubble, like this one has a little more bubble gum on it, I think, than the other ones did.
That's nice though. It's got that I used it before, the Belgian funk on the finish, but then the apple is kind of blending with that, and so it has like a sweet character as well.
Yeah,
that's a really cool beer. It's an interesting beer in a world where it's hard to have an interesting beer, I think.
Tea was one of Kyle's favorite terms. I feel like there's an effervescence in there.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, this is one of those where I'd bring that word out. Yeah. It's got sort of this like light foamy, like not toothy, but like it does stick a little bit with to your teeth.
It's a sticky beer. Yeah, but it's not like it's over like sweet. It's not like residual sugar.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I guess not like sticky sweet, not like you said, not like caramel malts or anything, but it's for sure like it's lingering in
and that effervescence kind of cleans everything up on the back. But still, it's got a nice mouthfeel. It's mouth coating.
You guys get a bit of a squaw bread character out of the beer.
Well,
I think the last time I had squaw bread was probably like on a sandwich, like a Reuben, like a it's hard to differentiate the fermented, like kind of funky pickly taste of a sandwich from sort of the bread itself.
Recently at like an Outback Steakhouse.
It tastes like a bloomin' onion.
No, they bring you that little loaf of squaw bread out there at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, this bread and butter.
I mean, it's like warm. Like you just tore open a warm basket of bread for sure. Like it's got that sort of like kind of.
I could go
homey.
with that more than squaw bread. It's like a rich bready character, I think, because I think squaw bread's more like dense and like
I can't separate the color
dense and
from squaw bread. Like it's got sort of that like marbleized look to it, doesn't it? Or
no, it's just
it's
brown.
usually
it's just brown,
dark
sort of
brown.
like darker brown. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's squaw bread is, I don't know. It's usually like a dense. It's more grainy, a little sweet, but like I don't know what's the main thing with squaw bread that makes it squaw bread. I can't put my finger.
I think
on
it's the squaw.
It's the squaw.
Yeah.
Nailed
They
it.
just fill it full of squaws.
Wait, hold on. Is that considered squaw bread right there?
It's a yeah.
That's Cheesecake Factory.
Is it?
Yeah, it is served according to the Quora article. It is served at Outback Steakhouse and Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, that's my favorite bread that they give you
it's
for
a
free.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
good.
rye.
Okay, well,
But you don't know why it's so good. It's
I
just
don't.
good.
I didn't even know it was considered squaw.
It's
bread.
like dense and
rye-based multi-grain
like fluffy,
yeast bread.
but
the
like,
oats. I mean, the oats are on top, right, to sort of give it this like oaty lightness, I guess, or
yeah,
like
gives it like a little crunch to it, I guess.
yeah, like a I don't know, fresh bread flavor.
Interesting.
this is excellent though. Like,
Yeah, I'm really into this.
The thing
I
is,
said
I went
go
on
to
their
bread.
Instagram account, and there was nothing on there about this beer. They had the 20th on there from last year, which was
That's
released
weird.
in November. In 2017, which was released in November, but not the 21st. So, took a lot to find this fucking label. That's all I'm saying.
We have a Lannister beer on deck.
Yeah, so this is the Game of Thrones Queen of Seven Kingdoms.
Ooh.
It's got the little Lannister lion on top of the foil.
So when we were doing some digging there, I did have one of the Game of Thrones beers. I don't remember which one. I'm gonna have to look it up again.
I'm sure I did too at one point.
I have a photo I posted of like me drinking one watching Game of Thrones.
Oh, look at you!
On
That's how you do it. That's
on Untappd.
That's what they want.
That's right.
And on Untappd.
That's right.
I had the Iron Throne.
But I remember having like an unremarkable stout and an unremarkable blonde, and they were pretty expensive for what they were. This one's a sour. Maybe it'll be better.
Mass market
Fingers
sour.
crossed.
I don't know.
I mean, the bottle. So the difference between the two bottles that we just poured, one is obviously like full gloss. It's just sort of got the bottle look. This is wrapped. This has got this like matte black
the whole
MKBHD
thing
look to
wrapped?
it. It looks.
It's not like frosted. It's all wrapped.
No, I think it.
Either way,
I mean, these are separate, so this may. It feels like it's wrapped.
Yeah,
You-
either-
I'm
it
going to
looks-
pass it over.
I see what you're saying, though. It's not like a glossy finish. It's like a matte finish.
It looks
Yeah.
kind of like a champagne bottle,
matte
like
black
the,
everything.
The dark champagne
I think-
bottles. Yeah.
I don't think it's. I think it's a label.
But it's separate. Feel.
I want to feel. I
No,
wanna feel.
I think it's a. I think it's a.
Please
Stroke it, Tim. Keep going.
Well, yeah, because the top of the bottle's glossy. And
It might be a matte painted bottle with a label on top. I can't tell.
oh, yeah. It's a frosted bottle with
Okay,
a
that's-
label on it.
is it?
Yeah.
yeah, dude, Pop Tarts are frosted. Everyone just phallically stroking the fucking.
Well, you got to feel it.
I had a I picked up a bottle in dump.
Wow, this is.
I picked up a
carbonated.
bottle in Canada actually of something. It was like Sputnik. I can't remember exactly what the beer was, but
Sputnik?
that was the name of the beer. It was like a Sputnik themed beer. I picked it up in Whistler, Canada. And it was an all matte black
Mhm.
bottle with like a little bit of a label. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd seen like a matte black, like frosted bottle.
Yeah.
And it was super cool.
I think Rogue does a matte finished bottle. The thing with the matte though, it like when it gets cold and like cools down, like it gets splotchy and looks weird.
Yeah,
Like you got to be in the perfect zone for the matte to work. It's like a matte black car. They look cool when they're like freshly clean and dry, but once they get like some grime on them, it's you see everything.
But that's the thing. Like if I, in my whole like design career, if I had to choose between matte and glossy, I always went matte. I always liked it better than glossy.
I wouldn't say always though, because it depends on the situation.
That's fair.
I mean, I prefer matte over glossy too, but
You got to get that spot UV. It's the difference between the two that primo.
So apparently this is the sub-series in their Game of Thrones beers called the Royal Reserve series.
Oh, geez.
great.
For all of for all of the different characters. So this is the Queen Cersei beer. And everyone hates Cersei, right? Game of Thrones. People watch it.
I respect her.
Question mark.
I've never
She's a strong,
never seen it.
strong woman.
Wow, that's weird. You
Now, see, I watched the first couple seasons, but it gives my wife Carolyn nightmares, and so we pretty much were like, nah, not for us.
Aside from her fucking her brother,
that was ages ago.
I don't have a problem with her. No, I do.
The murders and such.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just one show I just never got into.
It's pretty good.
Seems to be.
Watching Big Bang Theory instead, or
No. Oh, God. No, never seen that thing.
just taking a shot.
I did see the set when we did the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was pretty cool.
Did you go Bazinga?
Oy vey. The only plus that I have to that show is that Will Wheaton's on it, and he's pretty cool.
Will Wheaton is pretty cool.
And he used Untappd for a while.
He was a beer geek for a while.
Yeah, he was real big in the beer scene for a minute, and then
I had him autograph a poster for me.
Can we Will Wheaton story for a
I
second?
think I still have it.
I was at Golden Road out in, are they technically in Burbank?
it's technically Los Angeles, I think.
Well,
Glendale, I believe.
wherever
is
they
their-
were. I was at Golden Road, and they have that room in the back, the Chloe's Club or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And they were doing an industry event, and it was super cool. I went out there and I was hanging out, and like I went upstairs, and there's like Will Wheaton and his wife just hanging out. And, like I sat down at their table, and they're talking, and he got a text message, right? And so all of a sudden, I'm like, "What's that noise? It's super familiar." And he pulls his phone out, and you know what that noise was? It was a fucking Star Trek communicator noise
Yeah.
for his text
nice.
message.
Of course.
It was the coolest thing.
TNG or original series.
TNG, I think.
It sounded like the from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
okay
yeah.
rather than the
Yeah.
okay.
Fuck, man, that's too nerdy even for me.
That was one of those moments. I'm like, this is like nerd, like just 2 levels, like
T-
way
t-
too cheap.
So
Yeah.
you were a crusher then, I guess.
God.
Crushing hard.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right.
I got that one.
So,
Thank you. Wow.
So they call this a sour ale, huh?
Yeah, it's like
know.
a fruited blonde.
It's like a very like acid forward blonde fruited
Oh.
like Belgian beer. I wouldn't call it
There's a-
sour.
Yeah, there's a light tartness to it, but
got a
it's
bite.
very mellow. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not feeling it though. I'm not feeling the like sour.
That's what I'm
anywhere,
saying.
yeah.
I mean that's what they call it on Untapped, or that's what you call it on Untapped.
What? Sorry,
It's it's definitely Tim. Tim's the one
it's all my fault.
going through the database.
It
making
says
sure
on
it's
the
correct.
bottle sour blonde ale blend.
Okay, well if
so,
they're calling it
I
a sour,
mean,
yeah, then I mean it's a good beer. It's got a crisp finish.
Is it?
It would be appealing to the mass market that would be buying it for watching the show.
I would say it's a good intro beer to sours because you get like to experience something you normally don't experience with like beer, which is that kind of subtle bite.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy
But-
thing is, have we grown too accustomed to like crazy acid bombs?
Context,
that-
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Like it's hitting me in a different way than both the sours that we had today are, where you're like, it's on the front of the tongue and it's like hitting the very, very tip for some reason. And it's not going around the back or hitting the back of the throat. It's all at the front of the palate for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I can see that. Yeah.
In the description, they say they blend a dry blonde ale with a subtly tart Belgian sour. So
Okay, so it's like a blend. The blonde would cut the sour pretty straightforward.
And literally, they're using the like flavor descriptors as like a cute joke because they're like, oh, like the character, it's a dry blonde but subtly tart. Like,
Oh, jeez.
it's kind of accurate, but but like also kind of annoying.
I wonder how they made that part of the blend that's sour. Like, is it like a kettle sour, or do they just add like lactic acid to the beer?
I mean, it's a Belgian sour, so I would imagine they probably did something fairly traditional.
I don't know.
Hints of apricot. Stone fruity in a bit. It's got that like astringency of a stone fruit, but
it's underwhelming.
This has been kind of my experience with the Game of Thrones beers from them, is that maybe deliberately they go kind of bland, and they just kind of lack character.
But the show's full of characters.
Yeah, I know. Maybe their thought is that like, oh, these are going to be like rando casuals are going to be buying these bottles.
Yeah.
So here's actually, do you think this beer is actually meant to be had? Is it supposed to be never opened and just sit on your shelf as sort of like a, I got this?
I think they're playing to both markets.
Okay.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I have like Coors Light bottles that were like one-offs of Coors Light, but it's still the same Coors Light in a bottle.
Right.
But it's like in the shape of a baseball bat.
You're not meant to open it.
Did you get the Miller High Life champagne bottle?
I did.
I didn't get one. No. I had to buy a 12-pack.
That is right in my fucking wheelhouse, and you bet your ass I did.
I went to Jesse's party for Thanksgiving, and I brought a 12-pack High Life, but that was before the big one came out. But yeah,
I don't think so. I had mine on New Year's.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it came out in December for like New Year's.
So I did partake of the High Life. I did not have it from a
It is the
fuck
champagne
off
of
bottle.
beers. Well,
but like Kyle said, I can see how this would be a beer that you would like display as, look at my geeky Game of Thrones beer among the rest that I don't ever drink beer, but I have this.
Or the flip of that is like, oh, hey, we're going to have Game of Thrones night. We got those beers. Because it's released now, right? And the show's not on for another 2 or 3 months. So I'm wondering if they're thinking people are going to like collect the set and then drink a bunch during the show or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. And it kind of plays in with like them collaborating with this particular brewery because they do make more old world style beers, which is what Game of Thrones is.
Yeah.
And so it's like you would.
But I wonder
maybe
if the thought
like,
is that they didn't go too challenging on any of these beers because they assumed a fair portion of the buyers will be not
plebes,
not regular beer, not experienced beer drinkers, right?
Exactly. And I think it works.
Fucking normies with their fucking baby palates.
But that said, though, for it being like a subtle sour beer, it's pretty good.
The 21 was the 21 was impressively unique and cool, and this is just kind of feels like a watered down version of a better beer.
Yep, it's
That said, I'd keep the bottle.
Pretty cool bottle. Yeah. Do you want it?
No. Throw it on a ship or something.
So I have a funny story about this beer. This is it's not that funny, but it's an Untappd related story. Is it? Let me think. No, it's an Instagram related story. This is Ommegang from Brewery Ommegang. This is a 9.5 Belgian strong golden ale. It's a collab with Ashoof, the Belgian brewery Ashoof, and they use 5 malts, two noble hops, and the yeast from both Ashoof and Ommegang. I was searching, like Ommegang, they have a very, very good photographer for their Instagram profile. Like they knock it out of the park, but it's hard to like search Instagram, like for a specific brewery. And so, I searched for Ommegang, and half of the results were weed, because there's some weed purveyor out there on Instagram whose name is Gnome, and he posts with the hashtag Gnomeganj. So if you ever search Instagram for Ommegang,
I was thinking Nomabong maybe, but okay.
I see it. Nice.
Yeah. So
it's also Gnome Gang, right? Like, If you don't pronounce it like Ommegang, it's just
Okay, that could be gang, yeah.
No.
Gang of
Gang.
gnomes.
yeah, like
Like a Sherlock gnome
gnome
situation.
gang, gnome gang.
Gang gnome
That was
style.
Okay, hey.
Gang gnome style.
I'm just saying, I was wondering
I
why
was
I
here
was
for
seeing
that
so
joke.
many
That's
weed
good.
posts, and it was like, oh, ganj. No.
You did say knock it out of the park, and I was wondering if that was a Cooperstown joke or not, but
It wasn't.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take it though. I'll take what I can.
I'm not a baseball guy at all, so sorry.
That explains the radio
you got
voice.
it.
Yeah, hey.
The radio voice is a little baseball
In
announcer,
another
I can
in
tell you.
Yes,
another
it
life,
is.
he's a sportscaster.
Strike one.
And whammy.
This beer's out of there.
Do it. Come on. Do a sportscast right now. Come
Can't
on.
you just hear? You can hear Kyle being like, "It's the bottom
And
of the
Tim
night."
is talking to the microphone, looking at me. He's giving me a face. He's turned away. He's making now he turned to the other side, back towards me, taking a sip, thinking briefly, and it's a strike.
Strike one.
Strike one. Now, see, the mark of a true like baseball broadcaster is that you don't say balls and strikes. You let that sort of play out.
So you're like 0-1.
Yeah, you hear that,
Okay.
and the count's 0-2, and the pitch. And you wait, and you like have these sort of like just moments of levity and just
Like, you don't want to narrate the whole game.
no,
you want
you
to
let it
basically
play out. Yeah,
Based off of my experience, baseball sportscasts are like 90% old facts and 10% the actual game you're listening to.
or talking about the movie that you just saw this weekend, or like
Yeah.
you just it's
Or the
it's
sponsor for the game that day, giving out their freebies at the.
Let's pause for station identification.
I don't know.
You're listening to the Four Brewers on fourbrewers.live.
Oh, nine.
So-
Lost it. I don't know.
I mean, it's a far flung sort of wish for me, long term. Baseball.
You could.
Whether I have to do, honestly, whether I have to do like Little League in the future, or whether it turns into like a, full fledged whatever college.
I think if you did
Fullerton,
Little
right?
League
There's like
announcing, you'd be the fucking boss, dude. Like who is this guy? Shit.
That's right. Get into esports, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Esports is the other thing where it's like I watch, even just watching like
Dude,
I don't-
RLCS, dude. You have the Rocket League voice. Like, there it is! Oh my god, this is Rocket League! In for the double tap!
that is really good.
I've never watched that. But
Oh,
I've
it's embarrassing.
I said esports, but then I actually don't watch.
They treat it
esports.
like real sport, and you're like, this isn't real. This is just
It
video
will
games."
be. It will be.
No,
in the future.
they make a lot of money out
I
of
don't
it.
watch.
It's real,
So
but
I don't really like enjoy esports. I don't watch a lot of regular sports either. But people are like, why are people watching people sit and play a game? I'm like, isn't that what
It's
sports?
fun.
Isn't that what sports is?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Isn't that all sports? Like,
Yeah.
it's just someone playing a game, and it's like.
Well,
like they're really good at it. They're better than you are at it. It's like, why don't you just play it yourself? It's like, why don't you just go play basketball?
like over the summer, I would have RLCS on in the background while I was like editing and stuff, just because it's like fun to hear them talk. And
Overwatch
you, like,
League is apparently really popular as well. I just can't like the whole Fortnite, like actually commentating Fortnite matches and things like that. They did that in a stadium recently down in LA where the Chargers play. I can't remember the name of the stadium. Home Depot Stadium or something like that. StubHub now. Yeah.
It's important to get the corporate
Get the
naming
corporate.
sponsor.
It changes every
StubHub
year
Stadium.
over there.
Dude,
But
That's where-
I don't know what to call the fucking Glen Helen Pavilion anymore because they keep changing the sponsor. I don't know who it is. It's Sam Manuel? No, they're not.
it'll always
anymore.
be Blockbuster Pavilion to me.
It was Blockbuster Pavilion in the 90s. But yeah, in Devore up here, there's the Glen Helen Pavilion, and it's just changed naming like 8 times in 20
Yeah.
years. And so
Yeah.
it's like, who knows what the fuck it's called anymore.
can't keep up. Can't
Right?
keep up.
But
So
yeah,
this-
man, esports. Crazy.
But
Jason, thoughts on the beer?
I didn't drink it.
it's pretty good. It's,
I don't do beer anymore.
Just esports.
Just esports. Whammy!
Honestly, I don't relate to sports at all. Like football, I appreciate football. I like baseball. I get it. But esports, like I like playing Rocket League, and that's one I identify with because I like playing it. And so it's fun to watch it. Like I didn't play baseball or football in high school,
Right.
but
Yep.
I always play Rocket League now, and like I'm interested in seeing people play Rocket League, like experts, because it's like I can never do that. That's amazing that you did that. How do you do that? So
This has so much like yeast ester.
That's what I was going to say.
Beer.
Oh.
Lots of spice. It
Like-
feels like.
Isn't that to be expected though? Like they're using.
Yeah, but even compared to all the other beers we had from them, like this is just tons of yeast character, like huge.
This is the most Belgian-y of all of them, it seems like to me.
I mean, makes sense, right? They're using a kind of traditional Belgian yeast from a known.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, if that's what they're going for, like showcasing yeast, then they nailed it with this beer. Like,
would you think this is a 9.5% beer?
no.
This is like the beer that like your friend that's not that into beer gets, and they're like, "Oh, it's kind of funky but cool," and then they get obliterated.
Without even knowing.
Yeah.
it. This is me with Dogfish Head or with
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
It's
I mean, they say it's 5 malts and 2 noble hops, and then a bunch of yeast, and that's pretty much Belgian beer in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and this is that. This nails it like on the fucking head.
I really feel like this beer is like textbook for when you're describing something as Belgian-y.
Exactly.
Like this has all the characters that you're looking for. It's a really good beer.
I
Actually.
really like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little funky and a little hot. It pushes you a little bit, but nothing irritating, nothing like
not at all.
overwhelming.
You can taste kind of the booziness on it, especially after it warms up a bit.
Yeah.
It's got a big mouthfeel. Like it's super like fluffy and pillowy and tongue coating. A little spicy too. And I think that mixes in well with like that heat you're getting from the alcohol. It's a very well done beer.
Yeah.
Is this 6-packs or
I think it came in a 4-pack.
4?
Yeah,
Okay,
4-pack.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Coming from someone who, again, I was really put off by Belgian beers for a long time. This would get me back into it for
Really?
sure. Yeah.
Oh.
It's the like spicy Belgian, like I say Belgian yeast funk, and that's like the best way I could describe what really like
That's accurate.
It didn't. I just couldn't. There was something about it that just did not sit well with me in comparison to starting off with like wheat beers and brown ales and pale ales. Like going that route into that like Belgian funk, it really threw me. But I've been coming back around, and this is definitely one that I would put on the would drink regularly sort of scale.
Yeah, it's a great beer. And I think for me, going back to the NBT days, like with Dr. Bill and all that, like his whole thing is like, first and foremost, like he's the San Diego guy and then like the Belgian beer guy, because that's what he grew up drinking basically. And like every time you go to his house, he's got to bring something out that's Belgian, and it's usually old and musty and full of Belgian like character. And you just the amount of time
it hasn't seen the light of day for like 20 years.
You maybe, yeah. And so you just tend to like, it's like, all right, I get what you're going for here. And it's like anything. The more you experience something, the more you get acclimated to it, and then you kind of start to like it, you know? So, but yeah, this beer definitely hits all those points. Like if you want an example of a great Belgian beer, like that's made from an American brewery, this is it.
I think this
really
might
good.
be a best for last situation. I think this is probably one of my favorite ones we've done. After this beer, we're all part of the Gnome Gang.
Yeah.
the Gnome Gang, the Gnome Ganj.
That's for another show.
Yeah. So Jason,
for tokers, for smokers.
we've talked about doing that. Yeah.
Oh,
It's not
boy.
my thing though.
Yeah. I can't because I work with heavy equipment.
I've only
Get
done
fired.
edibles. I don't fuck with smoking stuff.
We've heard about your edibles experience too.
It's been
Kind of funny.
I've dialed it in a lot better. So the dosing's a lot easier now. The 10 milligram stuff's a lot easier. Yeah, it's
Oh boy.
the
What?
older stuff. Like it would be like this whole cookie is a whole shitload of THC, and like figure out how to divide a cookie up evenly. Good luck. And yeah, you'd have a fucking mixed experience. But now it's all limited to like all the stuff is broken into like a 10 milligram dose, so it's easier.
Well, that's less fun.
Experienced weed people at home are just like, I do 100 milligrams and it ain't shit for me. But yeah,
So well done, Jason. Thank you very much.
no worries.
Great
What's
idea for a show.
What's on deck next week, John?
It's a surprise. It's my show next week.
John
What?
show.
I kind of threw it together, and
Oh.
in John Holzer fashion, we're not going to go out on weak beers. So,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
no.
3 of them are over 10%.
yep.
We got to tease the listeners at home, like what's on the show, so they can maybe
Okay,
get one, drink it with
is
us.
from Bear Republic. It's a new sour-ish beer they came out with that's made with guava and what's the other ingredient? I don't know. It's
I don't
made with
know.
guava.
You saw it, not me.
We're doing a collab from Unfiltered Art and Bottle Logic Brewing. It's a Neapolitan stout, and I've had it, and it tastes like a fucking Neapolitan ice cream.
Yes.
And then
Passion fruit, guava and passion fruit.
Thank you, guava and passion fruit from the Bear Republic beer. And don't ever say sorry. And then
Resident Canadian Tim.
God, we're doing one from Bottle Logic too. Jam the Radar from 2018.
Oh,
they
shit.
just released that
yes.
beer this year.
That's
I think a
amazing.
week ago, maybe. I think. And what's the other one? I can't remember. Oh, it's a collab from Oscar Blues and Cigar City, and I don't remember the name. It's something. It's made with some kind of special wood.
Wasn't it like 13% or something?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So that's next week.
Gonna be dumping a lot next week. Listen to us take huge dubs.
We're taking a dunk.
4 Brewers taking a dunk.
So if you want to take a dunk with 4 Brewers online, you can go to 4brewers.com to get links to all of our social medias and whatnot. If you want to give us your money, go to supporttheshitoutofit.com. And if you want to hit us up on Twitter, go to @4Brewers Show on Twitter, @4Brewers on Instagram. We are at twitch.tv/4Brewers for all of our live streams. If you want to leave a review on iTunes, 5 stars only, and you can send your negative feedback to feedback@4brewers.com and brew the shit out of it. This beer is strong.